Yo, yo, yo. Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, good morning. Welcome back to the internet's home for real day trading information and, of course, also good vibes right here with Trading with Forrest. So it's the end of the month, which means we're going to have some flows shift, traps get set, and our levels definitely matter more than ever. In today's session, I'm going to be breaking down what's most likely to happen here at the month end. So you can trade with a plan. And of course, I'm going to be wrapping up the giveaway today, so stick around to the end to claim that. Let's go ahead and lock it in. Before we start, though, I just want to remind you guys that consistency beats any amount of intensity that you show up with today, right? So you don't really need a crystal ball for the markets. You just need a process. So define your levels, size your risk, take A setups, and let the math work out over time. If you follow your plan today, win or lose, you're definitely going to get better, guys. So let me go ahead and switch on over to the charts, and we can get into it. Shout out to the first people on the stream. We got LOLA7, OG Trade, Conquistador, and Niche Dictionary. What's up? First time I've seen you. Go ahead, give the stream a like if you're here. Let's pop over into the charts and get it cracking. Crack-a-lackin'. Alrighty. To the stream. Oh, there it is. Cool. All right, so ignore this little paper short I had on. So quick tip, by the way, there were tariffs that came into effect today, which basically, you could have just known that there was going to be a pullback. Also in this uptrend, not just for that reason, previous day VAL, right? In terms of liquidity tests for our uptrend, okay, previous day VAL has been the thing that has been happening over and over again, right? This is from our Wednesday stream. We don't need that. So let's take a step back and look at the daily. Let's actually just go to the weekly. Actually, we'll skip all that. Go to the weekly. Get rid of this overnight high level. We don't need that. Okay. And we have these set of questions that we're going to ask ourselves. What should the weekly look like? Okay. What should the daily look like? And then what liquidity matters and how do we get there? So this is really important. I opened really last Friday. I talked about how the weekly was most likely to close with this red long bottom wick. This really gave us all the information that we needed for this week, right? You know that this wick is going to get retested. It's very unlikely for us to get an immediate kind of extension, right? We're still uptrending, and we know that we have been dropping on the weekly. So this ended up basically what we ended up with here today. This Friday is the end of this month. It's the end of the week as well. So anytime the monthly and the weekly are closing together, great day for gamma trades. I don't really talk a lot about options on here. A gamma trade is really just using, I got to turn this music down. It's actually like, it's too good. I can't focus. Good day for gamma trades. So we'll see what happens with those. Gamma is the rate of change of delta, right? Think of it as the difference between speed and acceleration. So speed is how fast you're going. That's delta. Velocity is your speed of change of speed, right? Or it's a measure of your change in speed, okay? Right, which is what gamma is, right? So an increase, as gamma continues to increase, that means your speed, your delta is changing even faster, right? And as that increases, right, every change in delta, every $1 change in the underlying, that's the amount that your option is going to increase by, right? If that was confusing to you, don't worry about it. Long story short, it's a good day to trade options, maybe. Okay, it's just a filter. It's just these beginning and end of the month for me, I have my eyes wide open to look for options trades. Okay, that's why I built Forrest and all these other options trading tools. Welcome to Weekend Trades. What's up? What's up? Morning. Can you guys see me? You see the charts? Cool. So on the weekly here, we did that retest, right? Long bottom wick. We've got a doji candle right now. It's lower volume so far. We still have a very obvious upward slant to the market. So even though, you know, this week was a little tighter, we're still in an uptrend, guys, until proven otherwise. Okay, the monthly, we do want to look at because the monthly is closing. Okay, so on the monthly, we do have this lower volume right now as of today, or as of this minute, I should say, doji candle. But this could close, you know, a little bit higher volume. We had core PCE already at 8:30 a.m. There's nothing else today, right? So that was that. Let's go to the daily and talk about what we think is going to happen here. So on today, we've got a few lines that we don't need from different little thought experiments that I was doing. So really what I want to ask myself is, just looking at the daily bars, what is likely to happen? So we have these close clump of bars. Okay, they're bar coding, slanted up. So again, because of the tariffs coming in and kind of this shape, you should have expect this downward opening, right? Pretty obvious in my opinion. It is, the market is already open. How far this goes, that's where the VP comes into place, right? So we're seeking liquidity, right? Anytime you make a price action decision, you need to be trading into liquidity, right? Really, you should be thinking about liquidity and then making price action decisions, but it doesn't really matter. There's a little node right here, a little shelf right here. There's this previous measured move. This level has been critical. We've touched it so many times. It's been an awesome level to trade off of recently. Okay, if I had to do only one thing every single day, it would be, okay, how can I position long for my 24,500 level? Okay, that's the simplest thing, is like, I'm looking for swing longs up to this level. That's fine. We put in a low, we put in a higher low. Okay, if we talk about this price action, there's a low, there's a higher low. We've got a high, got a higher high, right? So basically what I need, it doesn't have to be today, but I'm expecting a higher high and a higher low somewhere in here, right? Which means that this price can't come below these lows and it needs to go above these highs. Okay? I'll say that one more time. We've got a low, high, higher high. So price cannot come below these lows. We'll have a break in structure. We could do a low like right in here. Okay, let me clean this up a little bit. We could do a low right in here off this trend line. There's a node here. That'd be a little weird though, right? Especially if it's going to happen over here, right? It's probably going to crash through this low value area and come to this shelf down here, right? This liquidity down here. So that'd be a weird break in structure, which means that we would have a bigger or a longer, from a time perspective, rotation higher. It's going to take even longer. We're at all-time highs. It gets very choppy. This is where people get absolutely destroyed in the markets. Okay. Right now, the short is shorting. Obviously, I'm not actually short 200 contracts, but I am short a few real contracts, about puts as well, which probably up a couple $1,000 on. Let's take a look. Nice. Let's add our session VP, go to the 4-hour, and see where we want to get out of this one. Who else we got here? Daryl, good morning. Alexandra McCampbell, good morning. Muthukumar, good morning. Parvati, good morning. Subramanian, good morning. Take a Risk, CHK, good morning. Rajamani, good morning. Click 56, good morning. SK Procure, good morning. SMK Prabhu, good morning. Kirthana, good morning. Maxwell, greetings. Welcome to the best place on the internet. Appreciate y'all. Give the stream a like, subscribe. If you want an account, My Fund of Futures they're giving away 20,000 accounts, guys. Okay. there's a few ways you can get it, right? They're also doing a 33% off. So probably that's the biggest discount that they'll give. If you want to go ahead and start trading today with an account, go ahead and use code TradeEdge, get 33% off. I appreciate you. Also, you should join TradeEdge, which is our trading Discord. There's a few other people like myself. We all trade the volume profile. So what I'm looking for here is knowing that we have, let's just look at some obvious levels within near-term price action. There's these lows here, right? We could do a little trend line. So we could say, okay, maybe we retest this trend line around this liquidity that exists here, right? I can see that there's a shelf here. Maybe we do that. We already went through the previous session VAL, and we have volume building lower here in the open, right? It's 9:41 a.m. We came down, 4-hour closed, high volume red. Let's see what happens here. If we don't bounce off of this shelf, right? So this could be a place to take profits. If I imagine that we're just going to sweep this node here, if you guys can see this, let me zoom in a little bit. Okay, there's this little node here. So maybe I'm like, cool, all right, we would traverse that shelf. Maybe I want to be more conservative and I could take profits right here on this little short. Or what I could do is I could peel some off, right? Maybe I wanted to peel some off. I could take half of it there, right? That could be one way that you manage a position. It's part of what I wanted to talk about today. So when you're taking profits or managing trades, it doesn't have to be all or nothing. I will say, though, if you're going to take tranches in a trade, you should plan that ahead of time. Okay, you shouldn't. It's kind of difficult to, especially if you're trading like one contract, one NQ, to take pieces off. You should trade 10 M and Q instead. Okay, pay the commissions up front so that you have that flexibility to add or get out of contracts later smoothly. Okay, so I could take some here. I might imagine, okay, I want to go for this trend line. There's this bottom wicks here, okay, that it could retest, maybe like a 50 fib retest of this trend line here, or of this bottom wick here. But the actual shelf, right, is this 23,421, right? This macro target lower. Okay, that could be the level that we go for. How do you do that when you're trading one MQ? You can't. You cannot. So that's a great question. When you're trading a small account, you have to just take your wins. And let's imagine you had a thesis, okay, that was to go from here to here, right, or here to here. And you get skittish and you get out here. My advice, okay, I can't say this is, advice, but if theoretically, if I was giving trading advice, I love the legal disclaimers on the internet. You should not trade the same thesis more than once when you're starting. Okay, because what will happen is you're gonna have one trade that's very clean. And tell me if this has happened to you. Go ahead and let me know in the chat. You're in a trade, one trade. You make you get out a little early, but you still have a pretty green trade, right? And then you freak out. You're like, oh man, I want to get back in, right? So let's say you close the trade, right? You want to get back in, and then you go short again. But then you're like, wait, but then it starts bouncing against you. So then you close it, right? And then you switch long, right? And then your perfect trade becomes a bunch of little slices back and forth, right? And then eventually in another 4 hours, the market does the rest of the move, right? And your trade would have worked out. So you have to understand that the market zigs and zags, and most likely where you got out on that first exit was the first check up on a level, right? And you're forgetting that on a 4-hour chart, it's going to take you periods of 4 hours for your trades to work out. And when you forget that, you'll start chopping yourself up in a few minutes instead of waiting another 4 hours, right? Guilty, yeah. I could describe that very well because I've been there, okay? It's not I totally get it, guys. Been there, done that for a long time, okay? So even today, sometimes, when I'm trading, I'll think man, did I really get out early? Should I get back in and wait for the rest of the trade? Should I do that? But then I'm like, wait, since I've re-entered, my risk is way different now, right? The risk on this trade is way different than my original trade. You know what I mean? So that's kind of the issue with. Did I not go short on this? I did. Paper trading is super broken sometimes. But the risk on that second entry is way different than your original entry, and that's the issue with that. So even if you were correct on the initial trade, now your bracket is messed up, your actual risk is messed up. So that's something you need to be really, 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 really careful of. Let me check this calendar really quickly. Here is the giveaway link. If you have not entered the giveaway, go ahead, check it out. Is that the link? Yep. There's a link for the giveaway if you want to enter. I have no idea why this thing is so broken. It's fine, but we're coming lower. I told myself after the last tariff day, I was not missing an options trade. So I bought at like market close yesterday. I bought a lot of puts, guys. Not gonna lie to you. At like 3:58 p.m. I literally had an alert set on my phone. I didn't even trade yesterday. I didn't even look at the market. I literally just had an alert at like 3:50 p.m. that said buy puts because I knew this like we're gonna get this peel off. That's really all I was looking for. That was the main thesis for yesterday. If you guys don't mind, can you share the stream link in the Discord if you haven't already? Oh, they showed up in the Discord. I'll join over there. Hold up. Go hang out with these guys. Hello. What's up? What's up? Yeah, I didn't see you guys on earlier, so I don't know if you're getting on today. No, all good, bro. There you go. There you go. You said 3:30. I would look for, yeah, I can see 3:30. Definitely, there's this block here, like 366, low value 3:30, and then I would say even down to 23,190. As long as we stay above the lows from the 20th and the through the 22nd, I think is all valid. So if we traverse that shelf there, I can see 23,200 ish would make sense to me. Mm-hmm. It could. I mean, the down days can always be bigger. So I was just saying on my stream that because it was tariffs, another one of those like tariff drop days, that I loaded up on puts yesterday, and I was just like, not. It was very small, but there was like I remember seeing a headline. I was like, I missed the last tariff like options play, and I was like, I'm not missing another one. So I literally just bought a bunch of puts before close yesterday. This was announced back a while ago. For those of you on my YouTube stream, by the way, I'm talking to the boys in Discord. Let me see if I can add them to my stream. But you guys should definitely join the Discord as well if you're listening in. But yeah, it was just a headline that I saw. Then I was like, yeah, August 29th. I need that. I need that in my blood. Meta puts. Let's take a look at Meta. What's your thesis on Meta? Going for that shelf around like down to 692 ish, or above it, I guess. Oh, there's a gap on the daily. I see. Gotcha. Okay, interesting. We do have this trend line on NQ that we're very close to. Yeah, like it's easy to see on the 4 hour. You've got the Monday bottom wick, the 27th bottom wick, and there's that little thing. I don't think I can. Yeah, it's not gonna let me share because I'm already streaming to YouTube. Got a question on YouTube. What would I consider a good B setup? There isn't really such thing as a good B setup. Are you talking about like a lowercase b or like a a bearish B, or are you talking about like an uppercase B, like a bimodal distribution? So that's pretty important. I'll tell you this, whenever you have two modes, right, when you have like an uppercase B, you've got two major nodes and a VP, for anybody who's confused by that, you can expect it to kind of fill in that gap eventually and range across the nodes, is what I've seen. But it really just, it depends on the context of the day. Fortunately, there isn't like a standard like, oh, we got to be set up, you got to do this. It's not really yeah. Let's see here. I have a call at 10:20. Interesting. It's a high volume down red right now. 5 minutes to close. Let me sign out of this and back in. This is as in an A plus setup, a sweep of overnight low with a high volume single candle at an edge. Is there an SVP shape that you typically choose to stay away from or lower risk on? That's a good question. The D-shaped VP is the easiest to trade off of. I would say that there isn't really one that I stay away from. A simple way to think about it is like you need to look at the VP shape really in the morning and around close. So like this morning, for example, around like 9, the VP was pushing lower. Right now we're moving away from the POC, but like we were pushing lower, and that can give you intuition about where the market wants to go, perhaps in the morning, at least related to other nodes. You also have to look at, like, for the current session, how did the previous day close? So that's why, like, at the end of the day, you want to pay attention to, like, are we closing as a lowercase b? Are we closing as a P shape? If we do close as a B shape. So it's really like the VPs in relation to each other. But if I had to pick one for A setups, it's going to be a D-shaped VP is the easiest to trade off of, because it's almost always going to mean revert if you have a really strong D shape, especially at the end of the day. So that gives us the really good gamma trade. So if it's like 2:30 p.m. and there's a really strong D-shaped VP and the market's moving away from it, like, with pretty good conviction, you can just, slap some contracts on. It's going to mean revert. So that would be the A setup VP. And signal candles as well. So you definitely can just trade the VP, but for it to actually be an A setup, there needs to be a signal candle. All of those things together is where you're allowed to, like, put on a ton of risk with a lot of confidence. Dude, my puts are printing. Yeah, just based off of last week's close, I was still looking. I just wasn't really expecting us to crack out a new high just yet. Might be a little delay there. Yeah. Get rid of all these lines from yesterday. Yeah, it did do a nice little high sweep there. Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Let me see what I got then. It is a holiday. Did I buy? Bought these very quickly. Yeah, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Friday. My bad. When you said that at first, I was like, I'm pretty sure I knew what I bought. Actually, didn't know what I bought. That's how quickly I bought them. So if what I explained is an A plus setup, then what would be a B plus setup that you might consider trading? A B plus setup is anything that has probably 3 or more probable outcomes, is how I would say it. So, like, an A setup to me is where I can basically predict the future. I'm just like, this is going to happen, right? And sometimes you'll hear me say that, like, this is going to happen. I just know it's going to happen. We just touched that trend line, by the way. A B plus setup is like, this is probably going to happen, but I could also see this happening. Like, both outcomes would make sense, but this is probably going to happen, right? So it just really comes down to confluence. But that's where that's why a signal candle at the edge is so important, because it gives you that confidence, like the auction is really showing its hand at, like, the bias over the next set of candles. Without a signal candle, exactly, yeah, yeah. So that's exactly how I think about it. It's just like anything other than absolute certainty is just a B setup. And it's not even I think the thing that most people get stuck on is like, okay, I got to figure it out. I got to get certain. But sometimes you just it's just bad. Or it's undecipherable, I would say. It's not even that it's bad. It's just like you might as well just wait until you get that easy read, in my opinion. So all right, I'm gonna do this giveaway really quickly, guys. I'm gonna drop the Google form one more time. I'll drop it in the Discord as well for all y'all listening in. When do you start school, Alan? Oh, oh, nice, dude. That's exciting. Alan with the giveaways. What I might do, this is my initial plan. I just haven't done it. Is like only do the giveaway. Like in order to get the giveaway, you have to at least be a member of the Discord. You don't have to be a paying member, but a member. I'll do that later. We'll keep it simple for now. But I do want to grow our community. The best community, by the way, better than anybody else. Thank you, love. My amazing girlfriend just brought me some eggs. Put this protein inside of me. Where at? Hey. Pushing lower. Dude. I I hope, I mean, I don't hope, but like the next tariff thing, I was gonna say I hope Trump just keeps doing this little tariff game because I think it's just free money, dude. Like I should have sized up a little bit more on these puts, but it's just so freaking obvious. Like he just throws these dates out there and then it's just like the market just goes down on every one of those dates. Yeah, every day he has a tariff, the market just starts going down. It's like, huh. The first few times I was just I was overthinking it, and I'm just like, dude, I'm just gonna buy puts. Yeah, he's it's the leader of our country. Biggest lesson this month: wait for the easy read. That way, you have all your money to take that trade, as opposed to taking the one you have to think too much on. Yeah, man, that's super critical. I'm telling you guys, if you look at your month, there's probably 4 days that if you actually use hindsight and you look at it, there's probably 4 or 5 days where like it was actually worth being at your desk and thinking. Like it's not a lot, guys. It's at least trading how we trade. Now, if you're like a scalper trading on the 1 minute, 5 minute, sure, you can do that. But it's so much better to just keep all that money, remove all the paper cuts, and just trade with decent size on the A setups. You'll literally just make more money. Am I still hosting MFF TV? Negative. They got a new band of hosts. I got fired for my hair being too short, so I started growing my hair out. So I have an afro now. Yeah, I didn't have a mustache either. They were like, dude, you gotta get out of here. So I grew a mustache. We're so cool though. I did they had a meetup here in Miami. Met Matt Leach, met the team, met Luke. Um, Patrick Weiland was there. Yeah. They put me in the back of the bus. It's crazy. But no, they were super chill. All right, we're coming to the 23-421. Yeah, I'm gonna peel some off here. Nice. All right. Covered my basis and took some decent chunk of profits there. Need you back on stream. Are they? AMDA. You were basically saying you expected the flag to fail. Yeah. Cool. All right, I'm gonna do this giveaway real quick. I'm telling you, man, that's the level. I think 23-200 is very possible today, if not even just that node. So 23-286 to 200, like that's the yeah. Or I mean, if it does a bounce right here, because ES is at this shelf on the daily, and then NQ is also like at that macro. So like it either bounces right here or yeah, we do a measured move. It's almost an equal measured move. That's very true. I'm holding a few though. So those go exponential, I'll probably make. Oh, for sure. Make sure I don't have any cheaters in here. Some of you guys like to enter more than once. Bunch of cheaters. Let's see. Whoa, hold on. Join the Discord. If you join the Discord, you'll hear Alan and W Dog are streaming in there right now. We stream every Friday. Every other. Are you doing every other Friday? Gotcha. There it goes. All right, I'm gonna do these winners real quick. We got Garrett P, Niche Dictionary, Orhill, and Subramanian, it looks like, are today's winners. So I'll get those across to the relevant authorities. The link sends me to WAP, but can't add the Discord. I'll get last week's accounts winners as well. Can I repeat the winners one more time? Yep, Garrett P, Niche, Orhill, and Subramanian. We did sweep this low on NQ from the 27th. And we did get up to like this 23,421 macro level. So we could find pretty decent support here. If we do get a green candle, I could see anytime you're below VAL, we basically could get a green candle all the way up to the VAL. I wouldn't be surprised. It's a pretty big, it's like a 50, it's more than that. It's a 75 point range there. Post the winners can't hear. I'll put them in here. Get them on stream, dude. I love that. My roommates in college were always my That's crazy. I tried to get back into RuneScape off of like nostalgia, but I've played probably thousands of hours of that when I was younger. I used to run a mining company, like on the OG RuneScape on the forums. Like, not even that. Like, no, I used to actually like manage like tens, not hundreds, but like tens of people who would go out and mine things, and I would take orders on the forums. So I was like a gazillion. I was like one of the. I wasn't like the top 10 richest people in RuneScape, but I was up there. Like people knew who I was at the time. This was when I was like 14. I know, dude. If only I could have applied myself at that age to the real world. Right. Why didn't you buy a house when you were born? Come on, bro. Yeah. There's that 23 421. Yeah. ES has a naked POC below at 6456, just below sweep level. Are naked POCs from prior days a big part of your playbook? 100%. So when we're asking ourselves that question of what liquidity matters, any untested POC is definitely on the books here. So are you talking about from the, you said 6456? Yeah, it's probably this one right here. So we got pretty close to it. But yeah, and then also this wick itself, right? So this wick down to the VAL from the 26th, you can see that getting tested, but you'll notice that there's just a big pocket of low value below here as well. So, but more importantly though, is our macro, our 23, 4, 21, 75 level first touch, again, wicking off of it. Um, I mean, 4 hour looks very red right now. It is very red. 1 hour, 2 hour. Yeah. Oh, word. Yeah. Same here, bro. One second is crazy. Now, I usually sit on, I think I've maybe dropped down to the 15 a few times on stream just to like talk about VP development, but I'm only trading on like the 4 hour. It's crazy. All right. I'm actually going to hop off of Discord. I'm going to stay on YouTube stream, but I got to take a call real quick. Um, all right, guys. I'm going to mute. I got to take a call real quick. You guys can watch me on the phone, and then I'll be back on stream, close this out here in a little bit. So I will be right back. All right. Well, they did not join the call. So we're good to go. Let me turn my face back on. Cool. So we'll wrap it up here just on the stream. What questions do you guys have for me today? Okay, we hit that first level, 23,421. That, in my opinion, is the safest exit. We could hold for lower, right? So in terms of like trading the thesis, can't see my face. I'm back like magic. In terms of what might happen, we could do another leg lower. If we do another leg lower, I would look for this node down here, right? Trading to this block here. I am holding some of my puts. I took profits on most of them. Did really good on those. I have no idea what percent these will go to. If we hit this level, it'll be pretty exponentially crazy. We'll see. If the rest of my puts go to zero, that's fine. I'm probably going to put like a break-even stop on the rest of these positions here. Wild day for bulls. Yeah, they got absolutely smoked today. If we V recover, right, we could V recover, come back to POC. I could see us even coming up to this 23,765. Doing a new high today would be nuts. If that was going to happen, this would be the day that happens, though. It's the end of the month, right? So this would be the exact type of day that happens. Again, though, you need to be looking at the weekly, guys. Okay, the weekly candles. Ask yourself what makes sense on the weekly. You have to be asking yourself that. It'll save you a lot of headache on a week-by-week basis, okay? Based off the week, whoa. Based off the weekly, if I can move my level, you can figure out what your pacing should be inside of every day in that week, okay? So your expectation on the weekly is going to determine what's even possible on the daily or the 4 hour, right? So keep that in mind. That's really it, though. I do need to run. I've got some meetings, got to run my business. A lot of cool stuff happening. I did a video yesterday kind of just showing what's happening in the business. I'm going to be dropping more videos about the business. My office is coming together. I'll post a snapshot. I'm going to actually head over to the new studio build out today. We got the glass should be installed for my office. Then I got a bunch of glass doors. I paid $2,500 a door for these glass doors, guys. $2,500 a door. Let me say that again for you. I think you guys are hearing me. Hold up. $2,500 a door. Some expensive glass. So, yeah, very, very expensive. Gonna head over there, work on that. Have I ever used a periodic volume profile from TradingView? I've used it to give me weekly volume profiles on the 4 hour. I've considered it. I think the thing that I have to ask myself is, before I use an indicator, what is it going to tell me? Like, what question is it answering? Do I have a question that I need answered? Okay. I don't really have a question that the periodic volume profile would answer for me, to be quite honest, that like, you know, the other ones that I use. And so it would just be another indicator. Maybe I'll change my mind later. Not that it's bad. I mean, I think any volume profile indicator is probably good. Just, I want to say that, like, if you're using the volume profile, you're probably A-okay. I just don't think I personally need it. So I haven't tried it. I did see the release when that came out, though. So yeah, that's what I'll be doing. Gonna be working on the business a little bit today, increasing bookings, and overall, I'm probably gonna. I mean, obviously, this is a day trading channel, but I am gonna start posting more just business stuff because I run a whole company, which is a big part of my life. So spend a lot of time doing that. Do I have a? Is my lip crusty, guys? I can't tell. Or is that light? No idea. Any last minute questions, thoughts from me? Updates on the November live meeting. No. So my GC, my general contractor, has pushed me back like 2 weeks. So one of the things that I'm figuring out is, right, so once the place is done, we have to go and build out the new studios. Have to have all that done. There's a few events that I'm doing for some of my clients. Riz is going to be in there filming for a few days in November as well. So there's going to be a bunch of traders in Miami. They'll have in the space, but just with the amount going on, I originally was going to do an event around that week while everyone was there, anyways. But it's just too much going on. So I might push that to like the end of November, but I'll let you guys know. I think I'm just going to keep it very simple, keep it around just our community and maybe like one other featured speaker. Just have an opportunity for us to commune, break bread together, chop it up. I think that's really important. Obviously, learning is cool too, but you know, um, building meaningful relationships is, I think, a lot more impactful on the long term. So that's kind of what I'm gearing towards in November, and that'll be coming. So that's all I got, y'all. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe. Help a brother out. It's a lot of stuff cooking. I cannot wait to have my new office so I can just stream from, the same place that I work out of, and I have to bounce back and forth all the time. That's why I haven't went too crazy with this setup. It's just like I know I'm gonna move it, and I just don't want to. But yeah, that's it. Appreciate y'all. See you on Monday, or actually Monday is a holiday. It's Labor Day, so I will see you probably next week Wednesday on stream. Join the Discord. Love to see you there. We're in there 24 by